looks like a witch, Scarlet Witch. Like, look at her, like, ah. So was she calling Blake Lively?
Blake Lively is in a shocking meltdown after her family secrets got exposed, and let me tell you, it's not looking good.
She's accusing him of sexual harassment, and she's saying that he then orchestrated along with his PR people.
Poor Blake spent years building her flawless image, and now it's unraveling in front of the media like a soap opera nobody asked for.
Would never actually do this, like ever. But
with each layer of her curated life peeling back, it's clear that she was definitely not prepared for this drama.
What I will speak to separately is the feeling of being a woman who has a voice today.
Sorry, I keep interrupting, but I got a commentary, and I'm so sick.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are Hollywood's golden couple.
Name it, we change it. Just as our fellow Time 100 honoree, the incredible Giselle Pellicot, put it to every woman who understood, it's not for us to have shame, it's for them.
The duo that has spent years mastering the art of public perfection, from their witty social media banter to their picture-perfect red carpet appearances.
Now here Friedman is quoted in TMZ. Let's look at what he said. Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement, extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
It's like they've been plucked straight out of a rom-com, right? But behind all the glamorous photo shoots and carefully curated family snapshots, it seems this fairy tale might be unraveling faster than a thread on a cheap sweater.
Harassed her a single day. She's a psychopath, and she's made this stuff up. She's making this stuff up because she wanted to wrest control of the movie away from me.
Because we all know one thing for sure, the fall is always louder when you're at the top. There are whispers of scandal and controversy around the duo. And trust me, these aren't the kind of family secrets you air out at Thanksgiving dinner.
That was a company of Blake Lively's. As more and more went through the state of California and other sort of filings, it was owned by Blake Reynolds.
Let's start with Van Zon, their oh-so-chic company that was supposed to be their legacy project. Really? On the surface, it looked like a sleek, modern success story. But
also, it says here that the CRD didn't actually fact-check the complaints to see if it was actually true. They didn't look into anything. They didn't investigate anything.
Enter Justin Baldoni, with allegations flying faster than Ryan Reynolds' snarky tweets.
On Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie, It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence.
Did they do that to their own daughter? Silent treatment? Gaslighting, doing the golden child thing where one child, okay, I'm pushing off attention from that one child and putting it on another.
We're talking lawsuits, workplace drama, and accusations of cyber misconduct. You know, the kind of things that scream perfect couple goals, right?
Potentially skirt the legal process and obtain certain communications that I believe Blake Lively and others wanted in connection with the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively.
And it doesn't stop there. Stephanie Jones, a former insider, has painted a not-so-pretty picture of Van Zon's inner workings.
If she were to voluntarily give internal communications between Stephanie Jones and Baldoni to a third party, regardless of the purpose of whether being asked for, that would be a violation of that confidentiality agreement.
Toxic workplace culture and cyber misconduct are like routine tasks.
Wallace accuses Blake of falsely lumping his firm into the allegations she made against Baldoni.
Add to that the rumors of fraudulent LLC filings. Yes, fraudulent. And you've got yourself a business empire that seems about as sturdy as a house of cards in a wind tunnel.
A lot. We disagree. Here's why. But worst case scenario, if we lose, we are allowed legally to go make an amendment, and we should at least be doing that.
But wait, there's more. Let's talk family that has made Blake meltdown faster than anyone can imagine.
The internet seems to have caught Blake Lively again, feuding with 3 A-list women, including Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Garner, and Margot Robbie.
Jennifer Aile, the enigmatic figure, stepped into the spotlight with more than just tea. She's got the whole kettle, allegations of a long-standing family rift. And don't even get us started on how these skeletons are dancing their way out of the closet, leaving Blake and Ryan scrambling for damage control. This is where the contrast gets truly delicious. On one hand, you've got their public facade, the dream couple who seem to have it all. On the other, you've got whispers of secrets that could turn their flawless brand into a PR dumpster fire. It's like watching a soap opera unfold in real life, except the stakes are multi-million-dollar empires and global reputations.
A lot. We disagree, here's why, but worst case scenario, if we lose, we are allowed legally to go make an amendment, and we should at least be doing that.
Now, if you thought it couldn't get worse, buckle up. The fallout from these revelations isn't just limited to their inner circle. It's starting to seep into the public domain, and the fans who once adored them are beginning to see cracks in the facade.
These things happen. She said she believes them to be true, or she doesn't say it, but the person who speaks for her says it.
Let's get into the heart of this drama, shall we? Because the tale of Blake Lively versus Reese Witherspoon is basically Hollywood's version of a chess match, with Reese pulling off a checkmate so clean it left Blake scrambling for the board. First, Blake's film The Quiet Years. It was hyped as her magnum opus, the deep, soul-searching project that would redefine her career. And what did we get?
Sure seems that way. Now, for those that don't know, Blake Lively was part of a photo scandal.
A film that landed with all the grace of a belly flop. Critics weren't impressed, audiences didn't flock, and it faded into obscurity. The whispers started almost immediately. Had Blake overreached? Was this a misstep for Hollywood's golden girl? Yes, you got it right.
If you are saying or believing that a thing is true instead of saying that it is true, you just believe it's true, that creates some kind of wiggle room.
Enter Reese Witherspoon, the strategic mastermind who saw The Quiet Years' limp reception and thought, "Hold my southern charm." Along came her project, Inheritance. This movie mirrored the themes of Blake's film, but polished them to perfection. While Blake's work was described as ambitious but flawed,
if it turns out the statement wasn't true. The thing is, if you lie in federal court, you could get up to 5 years in prison.
Reese's Bamez was lauded as riveting and masterfully executed. It was like watching someone rewrite your homework and get an A+ while you're stuck with a C. Now, let's pivot to the Time 100 Gala, where Blake made herself the laughingstock.
Jab at Blake Lively's photo scandal back in the 2011 Movie Awards speech.
For Blake and Ryan, it was a masterclass in raising eyebrows.
Blake has never taken photos of herself like that. Blake will pursue legal action against the publication which initially published these photographs and other outlets that republished them in any manner.
From their oddly stiff interactions to Blake's seemingly forced smiles, the night screamed, "Something's off!" The cameras caught every awkward glance, every uncomfortable laugh, and the tabloids had a field day.
Who thinks that your daughter, your 7-year-old daughter, is the dirtiest?
Now, if the gala wasn't enough, let's talk about how the digital age turned against our golden couple. Cyber misconduct?
You didn't say those specific things, and so just as a form of pleading, you didn't plead it properly. And so that was their argument.
Absolutely. Because apparently, running a business empire like Van Zandt isn't enough. You've got to add a side of alleged online manipulation. There are claims of shady cyber tactics, and here's the kicker. Internal whistleblowers started spilling the tea faster than a broken teapot. Leaks flooded the internet, from anonymous emails to cryptic tweets, painting a picture of a company embroiled in digital chaos.
The way that he has painted this does not really help the case when it comes to defamation. It's a very interesting argument. I will be very interested to see how the judge rules on this.
And the public? Let's just say they weren't buying the curated Instagram perfection anymore. Social media turned into a battleground, with hashtags and hot takes flying like popcorn at a bad movie screening.
Now here Friedman is quoted in TMZ. Let's look at what he said. Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement, extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
And how did Blake and Ryan handle this? With the grace of a toddler trying to lie about eating cookies. Their attempts at damage control only fanned the flames. Statements that felt too polished, apologies that came too late. It was a textbook example of how not to handle a PR crisis in the digital age.
And he can claim jokes or whatever, but to pull random quotes of Justin talking about his teenage years and his growth and maturity and to try to use against him to label him a predator, which none of the quotes did, I actually applaud them for, even though they're not supposed to do it, for making the point to be like, nice try, Reynolds. You have your own quotes.
So here we are, Blake and Ryan, once untouchable, now embroiled in scandals spanning their careers, their business, and even their personal lives. It's messy, it's chaotic, and, let's be honest, it's the kind of drama you just can't look away from. And let's not forget the financial fallout, folks. The pièce de résistance of this imploding empire. Money. Yes, the glorious golden money is suddenly playing an intense game of hide-and-seek with Blake and Ryan. Lawsuits are raining down like confetti at a doomed parade, each one with a price tag big enough to make even a Kardashian sweat.
I would never actually do this, like ever. But I think it's really important for people to see how words actually affect people.
Partnerships are vanishing quicker than Ryan's one-liners at a corporate board meeting. And Van Zon's corporate value? Let's just say it's taking a scenic route straight to rock bottom.
Given the history of Blake Lively, this is where I commune with Blake. Why would she have said that? Doesn't really look like Blake Lively. Granted, Jennifer Garner probably doesn't know her nerdy stuff. Maybe she thought it was Mira from Aquaman.
And now, the dreaded B word is being whispered by legal experts everywhere. Yes, bankruptcy. The ultimate plot twist for a couple who built their image on champagne dreams and caviar budgets. Imagine going from selling everyone on the power couple goals fantasy to dodging creditor calls in the span of a fiscal quarter. It's almost poetic if your idea of poetry involves financial ruin and a PR disaster.
Sure looks like her. Everything out there and exposed, clearly sent to somebody. Now, that's not illegal. It's really none of our business.
But hey, maybe there's a moral to this glittering dumpster fire. Like, maybe don't build your empire on a foundation of toxic workplace allegations, questionable filings, and a side order of international trade mess. Or perhaps the lesson here is simpler. When you've got this many skeletons in your closet, maybe don't host an open house.
Does anyone really believe Blake Lively, who had 100 times the star power and regular power of anybody on that set?
So, here we are, watching one of Hollywood's golden couples clutch at the fraying edges of their empire. It's messy, it's chaotic, and let's face it, it's a little bit satisfying. After all, nothing says reality check like a scandal-laden financial collapse, right? So, where do Blake and Ryan go from here? The options aren't looking great, folks. On one hand, you've got reports of Blake having an emotional meltdown, which, to be fair, feels like the appropriate response when your perfect life is unraveling faster than cheap yarn. On the other, public perception of the couple has hit rock bottom, and then kept digging.
I don't think the document's on the screen.
Oh, I got to get that up there.
There we go. There we go.
Thank
And
you.
the Reynolds made the statement to Key WME.
Rebuilding their brand? That's going to take more than a few cutesy Instagram posts. Retreating from the spotlight? It's a possibility, but let's be honest. Hollywood has a way of dragging people back, whether they like it or not. And for all their charm and charisma, Blake and Ryan might be facing the harsh reality that ambition, unchecked and unfiltered, comes with a hefty price tag. As the dust settles, the big question isn't just what's next for Blake and Ryan. It's what does this say about the glittering, messy, cutthroat world of fame and power? Because if their story proves anything, it's that even the most picture-perfect facades can crack under the weight of ambition, and the internet never forgets. Hit the comments and let's dissect this Hollywood drama together.